Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Anita Kamra Verma, teaching in Kirorimal College, University of Delhi, and today I will be dealing cytokines under immunology. After studying the module on cytokines, we will have clarity on the various aspects of cytokines, their properties, classification, action, and structure of the various cytokine receptors. The similarity of cytokines with hormones and growth factors will also be discussed. The biological action of cytokines are tightly regulated, and their impact on T helper subsets will be a topic of discussion too. The most versatile defensive mechanism of the organisms can be determined by the recognition of a variety of stimuli monitored by suitable responses in terms of initiation of an immune response, both for adaptive and innate. The immune function is based on the biological activities of innumerable glycoprotein molecules, which are called as cytokines. Classically, cytokines display extensive functional activities that arbitrate both effector and regulatory immune functions, combined with far-reaching effects on an array of biological systems. Cytokines can have an impact on both host defense and an array of normal physiological and metabolic processes. The functions and this other types of cytokines would also be discussed. So, the term cytokine that has evolved from the Greek word kaitos, that means hollow or a vessel, and kainin, that means to move. This was initially used to differentiate a group of immunoregulatory proteins, example interleukins, from other chemicals known as growth factors that can modulate the cell proliferation and bioactivation of non-immune cells. So, what are cytokines? Cytokines are low molecular weight proteins, normally 30 kilodaltons in size, that can mediate or are the mediators that are produced transitively. That means they are produced for a short period of time post cellular activation. They can bind to receptors, they can alter gene expression, they can bind the secreting cell itself, which is an autocrine way, or it can bind to a neighboring cell in a paracrine way. Few cases they can bind to cells far away, but they are very specific. They can work at a concentration of 10 raised to the power of 10 or 10 raised to the power of 12 molars. Cytokines can regulate the immune responses very specifically. So, what are the functions? Typically, their action is restricted between neighboring cells and may spread over a short range as humoral or soluble regulators. Cytokines may modulate the function of each cell by regulating processes that are happening under normal or under a diseased pathological condition. These molecules were earlier called as tumor necrosis factor, interferons, interleukins, and growth factors that are involved in almost all biological processes from immunity to inflammation to cell proliferation, angiogenesis, migration, and repair. They possibly regulate the intensity and duration of the immune response by inhibiting or stimulating the activation, proliferation, and differentiation of cells, regulating the secretion of antibodies and the cytokines. The classical immunomodulatory cytokines are able to effect the proliferation and differentiation in both immune cells as well as non-immune cells. Typically, the growth factors are directly or indirectly able to regulate immune competent cells. A major group of soluble cytokines that are chemoattractant protein molecules are also called as chemokines, that include the molecules such as monocyte chemoattractant protein MCPs, RANTES that is regulated on activation normal T cell expressed and secreted, and lymphoactin that are responsible for the activation of inflammatory cells. Now, let us have a look at the historical perspective. The earliest information reported in the mid-40s, they were reported as soluble factors released by white blood cells, the pus cells, primarily called lymphokines, to differentiated form as monokines, and an endeavor to categorize the soluble or the primary sources. In the late 70s, They were classified as cytokines with the introduction of molecular methods that ensued the cloning of interferons. Charles Weissman's group identified interferon alpha. Along with David Godel's colleagues, interferon beta was initially isolated by Tada Taniguchi. Barring the erythrocytes, each cell can produce and subsequently respond to a cytokine. By mid-90s, numerous cytokines with their corresponding cytokine receptors could be explicitly pre-mediated by using molecular tools like antibodies, complementary DNA probes. Only some bioactivities in cell supernatants were assessed simply by the activity of macrophage activating factors, lymphocyte activating factor, and a leukocyte pyrogen that was prevalent in the 1960s and 70s. By mid-80s, the advancement in the tools enabled the researchers to assess the expression of cytokines in pathological as well as physiological conditions. So that puts an action of cytokines in another perspective. Single transduction pathways are triggered when cytokines bind to precise receptors on the cell membrane of target cells that eventually alter the gene expression of the target cells. The response of the target cell to a particular cytokine is assisted by the manifestation of different membrane receptors, like the Th cells secrete cytokines that directly influence the Tc cells and the B cell activation. Sensitivity and affinities of biological effects mediated by cytokines can be assessed at picomolar concentrations. Their dissociation constants range from 10 raised to the power of minus 10 to 10 raised to the power of minus 12 molars, exhibiting their high affinity. They are located primarily in the vicinity of the secreting cell, and their action is connected via the specific receptors expressed on the cell membranes of their target cells. They are designated as juxtacrine, autocrine, or paracrine in response, and in an endocrine faction or a particular cytokine, when it binds to a cell receptor of the very cell that has secreted it, I can call it as an autocrine. Alternatively, it may bind to receptors or a target cell that lie in close vicinity or proximity to the producer cell, exerting a paracrine action. It binds to the target cell other parts of the body that may be endocrine in their action. A juxtacrine action means a contact dependent cell signaling, that means a cell to cell contact or a cell to extracellular matrix contact. Further on, development of cellular and humoral immune responses, control of cellular proliferation, differentiation, induction of wound healing, regulation of hematopoiesis, example the colony stimulating factors, the inflammatory reactions, that is by interleukins or tumor necrosis factor, chemotaxis induced by IL-8 and the macrophage inflammatory protein 1, BLC, that is the B lymphocyte chemoattractant, or immunostimulation by interferon gamma, IL-12, immunosuppression by IL-10, angiogenesis induced by vascular endothelial growth factor, the VEGFs, or embryogenesis, that is induced by TGF-beta, or lymphotoxin, which can be abbreviated as LT. Now, is there a difference or similarity of the hormones with the cytokines? That means, what have we understood? That cytokines are secreted by the cells which are known as lymphocytes, hence they were called as lymphokines, or macrophages and they were called as monokines. But cytokines were initially called as interleukins. That refers to the ability of the secretion of leukocytes that may act on other leukocytes too. Interleukins have been classified from 1 to 25, and they have been increasing in the number of identification. That means more and more interleukins have been identified and numbered. Some cytokines are known to be just by their trivial names, including the interferons and the tumor necrosis factors. Recently, the chemokines that play an important role in inflammatory responses have gained prominence. Why? Because cytokines share many properties with hormones and growth factors. Hence, their properties are often unclear and require clarity. Please remember, all these classes are secreted as soluble factors. That means we will find hormones, cytokines and growth factors as soluble mediators. They all can elicit their biological effects at picomolar concentrations, but they are highly specific as they bind to the receptors on the target cells. The definition of a cytokine itself as a soluble factor produced by one cell and acting on another cell in order to bring about a change in the function of a target cell was initially based on the endocrine system of hormones. Cytokines hence are considered as hormones of the immune system because they are the primary secretions of a particular cell or a tissue. But remember, cytokines secrete their action on nearby cells, but hormones can have the effect on far reaching cells and also in very short concentrations. But cytokines are transient. Growth factors are produced constitutively. Hence, they differ from cytokines and hormones as they are secreted in response to a specific stimuli. Cytokine secretion is short-lived and it ranges from a few hours to a few days, not to more than a few days. But hormones, the action can last much longer and they are normally long distance in their action. Cytokines can act over very short distances as already explained. Now, hormones are secreted by specialized glands and have their exclusive action on one or few type of target cells. But cytokines are produced by variety of cells binding to a number of cells. So, what are the general properties of cytokines? Let us put it as pleiotropy. That means it is mediated by a cytokine and has diverse or various effects on various cells. The cartoon shows that an activated T helper cell secretes IL-4 and it can act on B cells, thymocytes as well as T cells. The effect in terms of activation, proliferation and differentiation is evident. While as we move on, we see that there are more than one cytokines exhibiting similar functions. This can be called as redundant as it makes it challenging to attribute a specific activity to a single cytokine. Interestingly, when two combined effects of the cytokines are seen, it is said to be an added effect of an individual cytokine. This is exhibited by the cellular activity, increased cellular activity, and it is termed as synergism. Similarly, antagonism is exhibited by cytokines when they inhibit or negate the effect of one cytokine, or one cytokine is equalized by the action of the another cytokine. But as I have said, that the influence of an individual cytokine on a target cell induces that particular cell to produce one or more additional cytokines. This may further induce the target cell to produce supplementary cytokines. This is called a cascade induction, where one cell stimulates another cell further stimulates another cell. Since these molecules and their respective receptors provide vital signals for important processes, any aberration or miss in one of these cytokines or recognition by the receptors in the signaling pathways initiated by them or the entire receptors may result in numerous diseases or may be the cause of numerous diseases. The half-life of the secreted cytokines is also very short, ensuring that they act on a limited period for short distances. They are not preformed, they are not stored, and they are formed by new transcription as well as they are secreted as per the cell's need. So, let us sum up the general properties of the cytokines in a single cartoon, whereby we have categorized the impact of the release of various interleukins 4, 2, 5 as well as TNF alpha and interferon gamma on macrophage activation and inhibition of interleukin 4. So, as we move on, what do I understand? That cytokines can influence the expression of cytokine receptors. They can either upregulate a receptor, eliciting a positive response. That means upregulation is nothing but expressing a number of receptors to bind to specific cytokines. Alternatively, cytokines can also cause downregulation of receptors. That essentially means that less number of receptors are expressed on the surface of cell in response to release of a specific cytokine. That means interleukin 2 can have an inhibitory effect. The effect may be on the same type of cell, and it may cause transmodulation. So, I have cytokines that can stimulate hematopoiesis. Cytokines play a very important role in hematopoiesis in regulating both innate and adaptive immune responses. That means we have a precursor stromal cell that gets stimulated by the release of interleukin 1 to differentiate into a stem cell, and the growth factors required to differentiate into a stem cell will further requires MCSF, that is the cholinergic stimulating factor, the GCSF, the GM-CSF, interleukin 1 and interleukin 6. A fibroblast or an endothelial cell is formed by stimulus of interleukin 1 and in turn gets stimulated by macrophages CSF, GCSF, GM-CSF and IL-6 and IL-7 to form a stem cell that further differentiates into the requisite cell in the blood. And hence we see, barring erythrocytes, all the cells are dependent on cytokines for the differentiation. So what do I understand? Cytokines produced during natural immunity and antigen-induced specific response exert strong stimulatory effects on the bone marrow stem cells. So the maturation or differentiation of hematopoietic cells are dependent on cytokines that are also responsible for the progressive division and differentiation of pluripotent stem cells. Here I will stop and explain what exactly pluripotent stem cells mean. Pluripotent means one type of stem cell can give rise to a number of cells of the blood. Now, different types of cholinergic stimulating factors act at various stages of development of the bone marrow cells and promote development of cells of different lineages. Some action of CSFs are influenced by other cytokines such as leukotrienes, TNF, tissue growth factor beta, as well as interferon gamma. So, I move on to a structural classification of cytokines. That means, is there a difference in the cytokine structures on the basis of which we can classify them into different families? Yes, we can classify them into 4 different families: immunoglobulin family, hematopoietin family, interferon family, tumor necrosis factor family, and the chemokine family. Cytokines have been documented numerically in order of their discovery. That means interleukin 1 to 35, and the list is ever growing. All this is based on a particular functional activity like the granulocyte colony stimulating factor TNF by its role in the inflammatory response. When I say inflammatory responses, please remember they are both innate as well as adaptive, early or late, pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. That means primarily as per the origin of the cell, that is, if it is monokine derived, that means it is from monocytes, if it is lymphokine derived from the lymphocytes, and more conclusively by the shared structural homologies with interrelated molecules. So that means what have I just mentioned, that cytokine superfamilies display homologies, share sequence similarities and some resemblance in their respective receptor systems, but please remember they lack functional similarities. Cytokine superfamilies also have significant cell membrane receptor ligand pairs having regulatory function and showing or exhibiting evolutionary pressures that use shared structural motifs in various immune functions. The immune regulatory cytokines are TNF alpha and TNF receptor superfamily 1, including the lymphotoxins, cellular ligands, example CD40, and TNF alpha that mediate B cell binding to T cell activation, and the fast ligand that is CD95 stimulating apoptosis. The interleukin 1 and interleukin 1 receptor superfamily 2 contains cytokines like interleukin 1 alpha, interleukin 1 beta, interleukin 18, interleukin 33, and the corresponding interleukin receptor antagonists that arbitrate physiological and host defense functions. This family also includes a series of mammalian pattern recognition molecules which are called as toll-like receptors. They are very important as they play a crucial role in early innate responses for recognition of the microbial species. So, cytokines can also be classified based on the type of receptors that they are able to bind. Based on the receptor or the shared structures, cytokine receptors may be categorized into class 1 cytokine receptors and class 2 cytokine receptors. The TNF receptors, interleukin 1 receptors. The tyrosine class 1 cytokine receptor family has 3 shared receptors in the common gamma chain and the common beta chain, which participate in the formation of receptor complexes for nearly 20 different cytokines. This is a very important information regarding the mechanism of action for the cross reactivity of the receptors that are shared by the cytokines and have evolved from studies of structural complexes among cytokines and extracellular domains of their respective receptors. The gamma C and the beta C express a conserved core structure for the assembly of the extracellular cytokine receptor signaling complexes. However, there are many significant aberrations among these systems, thereby resulting in diverse signal intricate topologies. Now, as we describe the class 1 immunoglobulin superfamily receptor, this receptor family has a conserved amino acid sequence motif in the extracellular domain consisting of 4 positionally conserved cysteine residues that are represented as 4 capital Cs, and a conserved sequence of tryptophan, serine, that is any amino acid. Tryptophan serine residues are expressed as WS, X, WS, where X is the non-conserved amino acid. Going on to class 1 receptor hematopoietin family. This cytokine receptor, hematopoietin receptor, form the major assembly among the cytokine receptors and are membrane proteins with an extracellular N-terminal and an intracellular C-terminal. The receptors for all the cytokines under hematopoietins belong to class 1 cytokine receptor family, which is also called as the hematopoietin receptor family. Generally, both class 1 and class 2 are involved in using multiple subunits, often including one subunit that binds specific cytokine molecules and another that mediates the signal transduction. As we move on to class 2 receptor interferon cytokine receptor families, they possess the conserved 4 times capital C motifs that are the conserved motifs, but they lack the tryptophan serine residue motifs that are present in the class 1 cytokine receptors. Initially, only the 3 interferons, alpha, beta and gamma, were thought to be the ligands for these receptors. However, recent work has shown that IL-10 receptor is also a member of this group. The interferon gamma and the IL-5 have 2,4 helix bundles forming an 8 helix architecture. The mere binding of cytokine induces oligomerization of the receptor, leading to the apposition of the intracellular domains of the signaling moieties. Unlike many growth factor receptors, example the insulin, the epidermal growth factor, the cytokine receptor possesses tyrosine kinase activity on the same intracellular domain. Coming to the TNF receptor family, the members of this family do not possess enzymatic activity. Instead, the oligomeric complexes presumably place the intracellular regions of the receptors into the proximity of recruitment of the signaling proteins with enzymatic activities to amplify the signal transduction. That is, before ligand binding, some TNF members such as fast TNFR1, TNFR2, DR4 and CD40 appear to exist in preformed non-signaling oligomers through a region of the extracellular domain named the pre-ligand binding assembly domain, PLAD. The PLAD is likely to physically separate from the ligand binding site and appears to be required for many aspects of receptor signaling, including the dominant interference by receptors with pathogenic mutations at the PLAD regions. Some of the receptors do not contain a structural module known as the death domain, represented by double D, in their intracellular domains, and are the survival receptors, which directly recruit adaptor proteins known as the TNF receptor associated factors, TRAF. The chemokine receptors belong to the vast family of G proteins. These are the chemokine receptors which are coupled with receptors, represented as GPCKs. The chemokine receptor traverse the membrane and 7 times. Therefore, the transmembrane receptors can bind extracellular ligands and consequently they have intracellular signaling. When a chemokine binds to a receptor, a calcium signaling cascade is created, resulting in the activation of small GTPases. Engagement of all the class 1 and class 2 cytokine receptors studied to date induced tyrosine phosphorylation of the receptor through the activity of protein tyrosine kinase, which are closely associated with the cytosolic domain of the receptors. A comparative account of the crosstalk among the various cytokine and the cytokine receptors of both class 1 and class 2 receptors are represented in a single cartoon where they involved and they follow the following steps. That means that is the basis of unifying signaling model. Cytokine receptors consist of receptor subunits, both alpha, beta, and are required for cytokine binding. The beta is required for the signaling, but only a minor role in binding. The extracellular segment exhibits a flexible architecture that has a characteristic 200 residue long cytokine binding homology region, the CHR, having the conserved binding motif and the cytokines as structurally defined in the human growth hormone receptor complexes. 2 fibronectin type, that is the IFN3 domains, interconnected by a linker are present in the CHR module, and it donates the typical recognition module for all the helical cytokines that may exist on all type 1 cytokine receptors. The upper N-terminal domain consists of 4 conserved cysteine residues forming the inter-strand disulfide bonds, kinase receptors, and sometimes even chemokine receptors. The conserved tryptophan serine X tryptophan serine motif is present on the lower C-terminal domain. The receptors of class 1 cytokine do not exhibit any inherent enzymatic activity, but the intracellular domains are constitutively linked with the tyrosine kinases of the Janus kinase family, and to a more reserved degree, the tyrosine kinases. The Roman god Janus had 2 faces. The kinases of the Janus family have 2 sites, a binding site at which they link with the cytokine receptor subunit, and a catalytic site that, when activated, has a protein tyrosine kinase activity. Some biochemists, tired by the multitude of different protein kinases that had been discovered, claim that JAK means just another kinase. So, JAK and the tyrosine kinases are activated by ligand-induced receptor oligomerization, which results in self-phosphorylation along the intracellular domains of the receptors. Once tyrosine residues are phosphorylated in the receptors, they further act as the docking sites for the alternative family of proteins, the signal transducers and activators of transcription, the STAT proteins. Binding of the STATs to the intracellular domains of the receptors causes the phosphorylation of the tyrosine residues with subsequent detachment from the receptors. Dimerization of the phosphorylated STATs occurs. This is translocated into the nucleus where they finally bind to the DNA recognition sequences to act as transcription factors. Moreover, the major JAK-STAT signaling pathways, the class 1 cytokine receptors, also may use other signaling transduction mechanisms such as phosphoinositol 3 kinases, the RAS, RAF, MAP kinases pathways, and the insulin receptor substrate pathway. The structural aspects of JAK-STAT communication during receptor signaling lack the clarity and represent a major future leading edge in the receptor structural biology of cytokines. The subunits of the cytokine receptors are also discussed as various subfamilies of identification. They have been identified, and these receptors have a subfamily carrying identical signal transducing subunits, example GM-CSF, the interleukin 2, and IL-6. The GM-CSF, that is the granulocyte macrophage colony stimulating factors, is a 22 kilodalton glycoprotein which is secreted by activated mononuclear phagocytes, fibroblasts, T cells, and the vascular endothelial cells. Its receptor and the signal transducing units are similar to the ones for IL-3. In humans, GM-CSF acts on the non-committed form of leukocytes, the red blood cells, platelet cells, and macrophages. As it is not detected in circulation, its action is mostly local, that is in the bone marrow of the site of inflammation by the VEGFs, the mononuclear phagocytes, and the fibroblasts. Another subunit are the MCSFs. They are referred to as the CSF1, secreted by endothelial cells, macrophages, and fibroblasts. This secreted polypeptide is a dimer which is approximately 40 kilodaltons, and it acts on the progenitors that are already committed to develop into monocytes. GCSF are the activated T cells and mononuclear phagocytes, fibroblasts, and vascular endothelial cells. They can secrete the GCSF. The secreted polypeptide is 19 kilodaltons, and its receptor is made up of the non-conserved region unit. It acts on progenitors of bone marrow which are mature and already committed to develop into granulocytes. It is found in circulation and brings about the neutrophil maturation and release from bone marrow during inflammatory reactions occurring outside the bone marrow. The sharing of signal transducing subunits among receptors explains the redundancy and antagonism exhibited by some cytokines. GM-CSF receptor subfamily includes the receptors for IL-3, IL-5, and GM-CSF. Each of these cytokines binds to a unique low affinity cytokine specific receptor consisting of an alpha subunit only. All three low affinity subunits can associate non-covalently with a common signal transducing beta subunit. The resulting dimeric receptor not only exhibits increased affinity for the cytokine, but also can transduce a signal across the membrane after binding the cytokine receptors. Interestingly, IL-3, IL-5, and GM-CSF exhibit considerable redundancy. IL-3 and GM-CSF both act upon the hematopoietic stem cells and progenitor cells, activating the monocytes and inducing megakaryocyte differentiation. All three of these cytokines induce eosinophil proliferation and basophil degranulation with the increased release of histamine. Interactions between cytokine receptor specific subunits and a common signal transducing subunit of cytokine receptors are schematic diagrammatic representation of the low affinity and high affinity receptors for IL-3, IL-5, and GM-CSF are depicted. The cytokine specific subunits exhibit low affinity binding and cannot transduce an activation signal. Non-covalent association of each subunit with the common beta subunit yielding a high affinity dimeric receptors that can transduce a signal across the membrane is clearly depicted. The B diagram expresses the association of cytokine specific subunits with a common signaling subunit, the beta one, that allows the generation of cytokine specific signals despite the generation of the same signal by the different cytokine receptors shown. Diagram C represents the competition of ligand binding chains of different receptors for a common subunit that can produce antagonistic effects between cytokines. Here, the binding of IL-3 by a subunit of IL-3 receptor allows them to outcompete the other chains of GM-CSF receptors for the beta subunit. Interestingly, although the gamma chain appears to be constitutively expressed on most lymphoid cells, expression of the alpha and the beta chain is more restricted and is distinctly enhanced after the antigen has activated the resting lymphocytes. This phenomena ensures that only antigen activated CD4 and CD8 T cells will express the high affinity IL-2 receptor and proliferate in response to physiological levels of IL-2. Activated T cells express approximately 10 raised to the power of 3 high affinity receptors and 10 times as many as low affinity receptors. The natural killer cells express the beta and the gamma subunits constitutively, accounting for their ability to bind to IL-2 with an intermediate affinity and to be activated by IL-2 itself. Now, let us discuss the cytokines involved in the innate immune response. The IL-1, that is the macrophage induced, it can control fever and capillary effects. IL-6, again released by macrophages, that can help in adaptive immunity via the B cells. IL-12, again it can have an impact on the adaptive immunity via the T helper cells. TNF, again released by macrophages, have capillary effects. Activated neutrophils, interferon alpha, that is again induced by macrophages, it can have multiple effects. Similarly, interferon beta, that is released by the fibroblasts, also have multiple effects. Now, interestingly, the cytokines involved for the adaptive immune response will be more on T cells. That means IL-2 secreted by T cells can have multiple effects too. IL-4, that is released by activated T cells and mast cells, have a distinct impact on T cell differentiation and IgE production. TGF beta, again released by T cells, macrophages, this can inhibit the adaptive immune response, where interferon gamma secreted by T cells and natural killer cells are able to induce the activation of macrophages. So now we come to an interesting aspect, that is the regulation of cytokines. That means cytokines that are produced in the Golgi complex are transported via the endoplasmic reticulum to be processed into the cytosolic forms that can traverse the intracellular and remain membrane bound or released as soluble mediators in the surrounding milieu. Cytokines mediate autocrine functions either or by reverting to the nucleus, where they may act as membrane expression transcriptional regulators, or they can direct ligation of the receptors on the secretory cell or the intracellular inside the secretory cell. The distance and the kinetics for effector functions are restricted by various factors, including the physicochemical parameters of the peptide per se or the existence of soluble receptors, example, the IL-2 and corresponding soluble IL-2 receptor antagonists, TNF alpha and the corresponding soluble TNF receptor and TNF receptor 1 and 2. The enzymatic degradation, that is the serine protease degradation of IL-18, the extracellular matrix binding, that means a heparin sulfate or a unique cytokine binding protein, that is IL-1, IL-18 and the corresponding IL-18 binding protein in an inflammatory milieu. That leads us to understand what is an inflammatory cytokine. There are cytokines that can promote inflammation, which are called as the pro-inflammatory cytokines. Generally, IL-1, IL-6 and TNF alpha fall under this category. IL-12, IL-18 and interferon gamma, along with some chemokines, also have pro-inflammatory function. The anti-inflammatory cytokines can be categorized as IL-4, IL-10, IL-13 and TGF beta. The cytokine antagonists are also important, as the biological activity of the cytokines can be inhibited by a number of proteins that can possibly act in two ways: either the enhancing effect, that is they bind directly to the receptor but fail to activate the cell, or down-regulating, that is they bind directly to a cytokine inhibiting its activity. IL-1 receptor antagonist is the most characterized inhibitor that binds to IL-1 receptor but has no activity. The other antagonistic property that is evident as binding of the IL-1 receptor antagonist to the IL-1 receptor, that blocks the binding of both IL-1 alpha and IL-1 beta. Therefore, production of IL-1 receptor antagonists may play an important role in regulating the extent of inflammatory response and has been exploited for the treatment of chronic inflammatory diseases. Interestingly, cytokine inhibitors may be present in the extracellular fluid or even in the bloodstream. These are soluble antagonists that have possibly be the remnants of the extracellular domain of cytokine receptors created by their enzymatic cleavage. The commonly isolated soluble cytokine receptors that have been reported are those of the interleukins 2, 4, 6 and 7, the interferons gamma and alpha, the TNF alpha and the leukotriene inhibiting factor. That is an interleukin 6 class cytokine that affects both cell growth but by inhibiting the differentiation. When LIF levels drop, the cells differentiate. The soluble IL-2 receptor released in the chronic T cell activation has been characterized too. The alpha subunit releases a segment containing the amino terminal 192 amino acids when treated by a proteolytic enzyme and a residue of 45 kilodalton soluble IL-2 receptor. This shed receptor has the ability to bind to IL-2, thereby preventing the interaction with the membrane-bound IL-2 receptor. The presence of the small IL-2 receptor has been used as a clinical marker for chronic T cell activation and has been observed in a number of diseases such as autoimmunity, transplant rejection, as well as AIDS. Viruses may also produce cytokine binding proteins that mimics the cytokines. For example, the pox virus has been reported to encode a soluble TNF binding protein and a soluble interleukin 1 binding protein. Both IL-1 and TNF have broad spectrum anti-inflammatory activity response. These soluble cytokine binding proteins possibly reduce the inflammatory effects of the cytokines, thereby giving an advantage to the viruses. The Epstein-Barr viruses produces IL-10 like molecules that may bind to the IL-10 receptors and, like the cellular IL-10, suppresses the Th1 type cell-mediated receptors that are generally effective against the various intracellular parasites. Such molecules produced by viruses that mimic the cytokines help the virus to circumvent the immune response, thereby favoring the survival of the pathogen that eventually helps them to overcome the barrier of the host immunity. Now, the left panel has the example of viruses in this slide and the right panel represents the corresponding viruses. The cytokine secretion of Th subsets. The cytokines that are produced by the Th subsets have very distinctive functions. Th1 are the T helper 1 derived cytokine elicits cell-mediated immune functions, whereas Th2, that is the T helper 2 derived cytokines, they promote humoral responses. Cytokine secretion patterns determine the type of immune response to a particular antigen. Th1 and Th2 cells can be distinguished by the cytokines they secrete. However, both types secrete IL-3 and the GM-CSFs. So, Th1 secretes interferon gamma that activates the macrophages. There is increased microbial activity. Interferon gamma also upregulates the level of class 2 MHC molecules that induce a class switch to IgG that supports phagocytosis and the complement fixation. The TNF beta and the interferon gamma both mediate inflammation, while IL-2 and interferon gamma secreted by these cells promote differentiation of fully cytotoxic T cells from CD8 plus precursors. Th2 secrete IL-4 and IL-5 that helps in the production of IgE and supports attack mediated by the eosinophils on helminthic infections. IL-4 also helps in class switching to IgG that does not activate the complement system. The switch from IgM to IgE is mediated by IL-4. IL-4 is also required for the development of Th2 responses. The cytokines produced by Th1 and Th2 promote growth of the subset that produces them and inhibit the development and activity of the other subset. Such cross-regulation accounts for the inverse relationship between antibody production and cell-mediated immunity. So, it is important to understand the cytokine cross-regulation of the two subsets Th1 and Th2, that are again regulated by the cytokines that exhibit two distinctive effects on subset development. Further, they can enhance the growth of the subsets that produces them, inhibiting the growth and the activity of the opposite subset that is defined as cross-regulation. Example, interferon gamma secreted by Th1 subset specifically inhibits proliferation of the Th2 subset, but IL-4 and IL-10 secreted by Th2 subset further downregulates the secretion of IL-12, which is one of the critical cytokines for the Th1 differentiation by both macrophages and the dendritic cells. Correspondingly, these cytokines have opposing effects on target cells other than Th subsets. Interferon gamma secreted by the Th1 subset promotes IgG2A production by the B cells that inhibits Ig1 and the IgE production. On the other hand, IL-4 secreted by the Th2 subset promotes production of Ig1 and IgE and suppresses the production of IgG2A. This spectacle of cross-regulation elucidates the belief that there may be an inverse relationship between antibody production and cell-mediated immunity, that is, when the antibody production is high, the cell-mediated immunity is low and vice versa. Now, it is interesting to quickly go through the role of cytokines in diseases. Cytokines are important for neuroinflammatory, neurodegenerative diseases, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, respiratory, that is asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, the hypertrophy, ischemia, reperfusion, injury, that means the cardiovascular diseases, even the ulcerative colitis, renal, glomerular nephritis, diabetic nephropathy, or even for liver, viral hepatitis, alcohol hepatitis, fever by IL-18, TNF, or even in rheumatoid arthritis. Can we have remedies, cytokines to be used as remedies? Yes. Interferon in the treatment of viral diseases for cancers is prevalent. Several cytokines are used to enhance T cell activation in immunodeficiency diseases like IL-2, interferon gamma, and TNF alpha. IL-2 and lymphokine activating killer cells, even the anti-cytokines in the management of autoimmune diseases, anti-TNF alpha, that is the antibodies for treating septic shock, the anti-IL-2 receptor alpha in treating the adult T cell leukemia, anti-IL-4 is under trials for treatment of allergies. Hence, we can now summarize the entire lecture on cytokines. So, cytokines direct the development, maturation, localization, interaction, activation, and the lifespan of immune cells. They play a crucial role in regulating the immunity, both adaptive and innate. Cytokines are the medium by which the cells communicate with one another, and this is remarkably without cell-to-cell contact. All cytokines have multiple functions and multiple target cells. They have shared activities. When secreted in larger amounts, cytokines are important in cell recruitment, in cell differentiation, and inflammation. That is, they are important in fighting infections. When secreted in excessive amounts, cytokines can lead to a pathological condition, and in many examples, they can be used as therapies designed knowledgeably for the cytokine activities, and these are remarkably successful. The viruses have exploited the activities of cytokines and chemokines by producing viral versions of the cytokines, that is, the viral mimics, producing inhibitors of cytokines, and by using chemokine receptors as co-receptors for cell entry. Hence, concerted research is therefore imperative in order to clearly understand the complexity of these pathways and the pleiotropic interactions that symbolize cytokine signaling. Thanks.